Hi everyone, this is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all today? Wherever you are in the world when you're watching, a huge shout out to you. So, first up, I wanted to look at the US or Biden in the month of February. So this is a US political tarot, but I'll also, if I've got time, include a question about Australia. But I also want to look at the ex-president. And yes, I know that's, presidents are called former presidents or whatever. But he is an ex-president, arguably not a president's bootstrap. He's come out and said, "Look, if I win in 2024, I can pardon. I will pardon." And I know intuitively the reason I will pardon the insurrectionists. I know intuitively he's saying that because he understands some people are going to flip. And he's dangling a pardon there in order to stop them flipping. Now, that could be called witness tampering. But anyway, we'll get to that. First of all, I received a new oracle deck in the mail called The Secret Language of Light. Then, so I'll pull from there just a couple of cards for us. I'll move to the Llewellyn Tarot, Classic Tarot, and if needed, I will clarify with the Aquarian Tarot. So let's get started. It's Monday morning here in Oz, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whenever you're watching this. And I hope that you're having or have had a great weekend. So let's have a look here. Messages. Also, thank you for your feedback on my reading on Russia and Ukraine. I was particularly pleased that a Ukrainian got on and commented and said the reading aligns or gels with the situation on the ground in Ukraine, or what Ukrainians might think will happen. So also heard that troops either have been or will be, American troops either have been or will be deployed into Eastern Europe, which is what I thought would happen. So Biden in February's reading will be quite interesting. But first of all, let's get started with the Secret Language of Light Oracle card. For those that are watching that may need, I do these general readings to begin with, because some people just need a pick-me-up, when they're watching, on the morning that they're watching, or whenever they're watching, evening, afternoon. Just need to see or hear something that brings some kind of comfort or stimulates some kind of intuitive thought or reflection. Okay, so messages from Spirit for those that are watching this and need to hear the messages from Spirit. Okay, so we have alignment. That's interesting. There's a heart and a sword in this, and angel's wings above, and of course that beautiful light that golden light I always associate with Archangel Gabriel for some reason. That's the way it comes through. The blue light I always associate with Archangel Michael, because that is the color that comes through to me when I am opening up my reading and I call on these archangels. So there's something about the truth mending or completing or bringing the heart back to whole. And when you don't have truth, you don't really have anything, do you? Because you certainly don't have trust. And so there's something about the sword of truth being wielded here to, not in battle, but to heal. So I feel a healing here coming from this card, and a divine purpose, alignment. When the heart and the head, when love and truth align or come together, we have true higher alignment. Divine masculine, that's interesting. So much is coming out around our political leaders that use or incite violence, or various political groups that are calling for violence Someone said to me yesterday in conversation, I didn't realise it, but the US could have some kind of civil war. When I've looked at that question, I have seen that, yes, there could be violent uprisings, but it is not a civil war in the sense, the older sense of civil war. It is a more or less militias on the ground, pretty much what you saw on January the 6th, that kind of civil uprising. But that's, let's see, that's in the future. The ex-president has asked for protesters to protest should he be charged or indicted or they come after him. So we really can see where this is heading to. Divine masculine, every time we see whether it's a political leader bullying a woman or women or anybody, race politics, race baiting, polarizations, wherever the intention is ill, you will see people having to choose. Now, I think a good example of something like this is Joe Rogan on Spotify and versus Neil Young on Spotify. And of course, I deleted Spotify app and I will never use Spotify again. They can call it what they like, whether that's cancel culture or not. I prefer Neil Young over an anti-vaxxer, extremist, right-winged person who is, let's face it, grifting for the money. Okay, divine masculine. So you see the gentleness, you see the contrast between the energies. Divine masculine needn't necessarily mean a man. I mean, we are both yin and yang. We incorporate divine masculine and divine feminine in all of us. We're not talking about genders here, we're talking about energies. But every time you see that divine masculine misused, you can look for those examples where it comes into its own, and you have the strength, the real strength being so visible. Same with the divine feminine. So, we have grounding. Okay, so the truth is easy to see, and that's sort of like a North Star, isn't it, in the world, grounding. The truth is easy to see. These are beautiful cards. When you keep your feet on the ground, when you don't allow your own views to polarize, where you just sit and quietly reflect on or ask for the truth without bias. And I think we all know what that truth is. And part of that is being able to have compassion for those that don't share the same beliefs as you, or at least to understand why they are doing what they're doing, and to understand that that is not your journey or your business. So we can correct the record, we can support the best of science, but we allow these people to keep going because that is their journey. And then we quietly rest in the truth. We quietly rest in the truth, and our heart then becomes whole in a way. All right, Biden in February. Now you can apply those cards to any situation you've got in your life, any situation. Doesn't have to be politics, doesn't have to have anything to do with COVID, of course, or the pandemic or anything. It can just be applicable to any situation that is confronting in your life. And, humility goes a long way. All right. Let's look at Biden in February. Of course, recent polls have been not so good, but I have a feeling, and I've read on this before, that there will be a turnaround for Biden. And in a way, the more Trump takes to the megaphone, the more that it will turn away Americans. I don't believe the majority of Americans, including The majority of Republicans eventually do not want, right-thinking Republicans do not want a dictator running their country and democracy lost. They don't want to see America under authoritarian regime. So let's have a look. You'll question my use of the word majority of Republicans. Let's put it like this: a growing section of Republicans. All right. Joe Biden's February. What's he likely to face? Joe Biden's, I think the Russia conflict with Ukraine will occupy a good deal. Because I'm just seeing the Eight of Wands energy, things moving very quickly. Show me Joe Biden's February, please. So we have here the King of Swords. There's an investigation that he's also got his eye on. This could be the January 6th, but I think it's within the DOJ as well. I know that he's at arm's length, but he's still the president. So the King of Swords, there's an investigation here, and we've got the Emperor card. Wow. So he's got his eye on the investigation of the ex-president in February. That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, he's not divorced from it. The recent Supreme Court decision puts the executive privilege at his door, not the ex-president's. There's something around needing to control this person. If you look, he's very belligerent. So I think whether he says it or whether he doesn't, I think there is a worry about the ex-president and what he might incite. We've got the judgment call as the foundation, something coming to an inevitable end here. What is this? It has to do with the King of Swords and the Emperor. I've always felt that when investigations come to the fore, that they will move fairly quickly. So there's something around an inevitable ending connected with an investigation, an inevitable result which ends something. Now, the Seven of Pentacles in the past, to me, this always denotes mind on the economy. And I think January was that, and I think I said early in the year on my 6-monthly reading, January, February, he was not concerned, but he was focused on the economy. There are things also in January that occurred that didn't go as planned, and we know what they are. Of course, this is legislation. And so he and his team are looking at other ways. They're reviewing plans, going back to look at how else they can do something. So we have a lot of endings and beginnings here. This is in the sky. Someone said, what does that mean? It crowns the reading. It is the overarching theme of the reading. At the higher level, what we're seeing in the US playing out is endings of old cycles, beginnings of new. But at another level, this is also Russia and the rest of the world and what might occur here. And it has to do with endings and beginnings, major endings and beginnings. So now I've got two karmic cards, Judgment and the World for Biden's February. And we've got the Page of Cups, something surprising us, coming out of the blue. For me, the Page of Cups, it will mean different things to different readers. But for me, the Page of Cups always signifies something taking us by surprise. So what is that? Is that troops on the ground in Eastern Europe and seeing those American soldiers there, not in Ukraine or maybe in Ukraine, but certainly deployment there. Now, the Wheel of Fortune in the here and now, big Jupiter energy for Biden. This is luck changing, and this is in tune with my readings in the past on dipping polls and what it means for the midterms. There's something in February that changes things for him. Now, whether that's a finding, a charging of the ex-president, more information coming out. It's like drip, drip every day. There's something new. He is thinking, Biden is thinking that the ex-president dangling pardons and it's like a lawlessness that needs to be reined in. This angel here on the Wheel of Fortune in this deck is holding a sword. So there is some effort being brought to bear to bring the truth out by all parties, and it is going to work in his favour. There is some kind of new start here for him. That's the environment. You know, when we hear polls and then they're quoted copiously by media, and then people cherry pick out of them and start to highlight the bit that they want highlighted. The bottom line is most voters would prefer a Biden presidency to a Trump presidency. And that, to me, is only going to strengthen. So these are his cards. There is a luck around him. There is that Jupiter expansive, benevolent, because Jupiter is benevolent, energy for Biden in February. The hopes and the fears, disappointment, he's aware of that. He's aware that his legislative agenda was stymied, and he's hoping that that doesn't set in. But there's also another cup here that he needs to look at. So I hope he doesn't fall into that energy either. So the outcome card is the Ten of Pentacles. He is still focused on the economy in February, but also delivering for families in some way. Is this an executive order that he's going to bring forward? And we have Death here, another karmic card. The Ten of Pentacles sometimes relates to dark money and politics. There could even be something brought forward to try and rein that money and politics influence in some way. I'm not sure what that is, but we'll wait and see. But there's three major karmic cards and the Knight of Swords. So to me, this again shows me that Russia and Ukraine are on his mind. When you have, money, to me, money in politics, dark money, then we have Death and the Knight of Swords. The truth coming out here. And here we have he showed up in his reading. So I'm going to put these cards down here because I think this is actually a fairly beneficial reading in February for Biden, that something changes. It is meant to change. The truth is meant to come out. There's no doubt about it that everybody is feeling a little bit like the Nine of Wands. And there's certainly a betrayal here of democracy. But we have a coming together in some way, and we have a new start. What is delivering that new start is justice. And this is what is at work at the base of the pack, the underlying energies here, which really signify January the 6th. And that's why I keep going back to it, because this is, the insurrection is instrumental in allowing democracy in the US to survive, bringing justice here. So given that the King of Swords is the investigator, the lawyer, the prosecutor, the DOJ, you could hear more announcements coming out of the DOJ in February, and Biden has his eye on them. Will it be that the fake electors are charged with something, which I've always seen they will? Will it be that Mark Meadows is held in criminal contempt? The DOJ is weighing that up following the Supreme Court decision. Speaking of the Supreme Court, is this his mind on his nominee, which he will announce, I think, in February. A lot going on for him, but ultimately the base energy is good with the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Wands there in the here and now positions. All right, let's move to Mr. Pardon the criminals, ex-president. Now, why did he say it? Did he say this to tamper with potential witnesses? Did the ex-president say he would pardon insurrectionists? Something's fallen out. We've got losing. We've got the Eight of Cups, losing, and that's the intuition here. I know he appears at the rallies to be strong, and you get selective media giving him a megaphone. However, the underlying energy is he lost, not the underlying energy. The fact is he lost. He wouldn't be re-elected. And, oh yeah, okay, so we've got the Hanged Man and Biden. So he is trying to nullify something. Nullify, obviously, the Biden presidency. When I say nullify, bring any support for Biden to an end. The Hanged Man suspends something. Suspend what? Suspend the investigation. All right. Did he announce this in order to send a message to potential witnesses in the insurrection investigation? Okay, so Six of Swords I'm seeing. It's like a boat full of people being taken out of troubled waters. So we have Six of Wands, which is a yes card. It's victory. Yes. Okay, so this is connected with Biden's February reading as well. So we've got the World card, both big yes cards, but also his winning streak coming to an end, if you can call it a winning streak. Did he announce that? Yes. Four of Wands. This is reunification, bringing back that energy of being, you know, the insurrectionists said that he had abandoned them, bringing them back into the fold. The Queen of Swords in the past here. Queen of Swords always comes up as somebody within the DOJ that may be conducting this investigation. Could be a judge here as well that has the grand jury that's looking at the insurrectionist charges. It is an investigator, nevertheless. The Moon, of course it's nefarious. Of course it's nefarious. I do want to suggest again, or intuitively suggest again, that what does Putin want? He does not want Ukraine. I mean, how outlandish. He does not want Ukraine to ever be a part of NATO, and he wants that guarantee ever. What did he try to do through the ex-president? Destroy NATO. The Moon card, something coming to the surface, preventing something coming to the surface. The Ten of Cups, I keep getting a pull toward the family, but also voters here, back to his base. In the here and now, the Five of Cups, there's definitely abuse of power. Surprise, surprise. What does Homer Simpson say? Doh, or duh, whatever that is. The Ace of Wands, it's a plan and a strategy. What is the plan and the strategy? The abuse of power. Well, surprise, surprise, that's the modus operandi. Six of Cups, the past. Okay, he's worried about the past. He fears events in the past. And we've got Five of Cups, loss. What did I say at the beginning of this reading? He might look with his megaphone to be taking some kind of advantage, but in reality, it is loss, loss, loss. Six of Pentacles. What's he losing? Support. And this is why he's saying what he's saying. Why is he losing it? Because the Ace of Swords, the truth is emerging. And here we have his card for he and his supporters at the base of the pack. Now, I just want to remind you of what happens when the truth aligns. Okay, so, you know, what is a cult? But the cult loves, the cult, hands themselves over, heart and soul, body to their leader, the cult leader. But what happens to the heart when the truth is driven through it? Okay, so the heart mends, bringing the two parts back together. So this is his energy, and this is what he's worried about. The truth emerging from that deep, dark, murky pond that he so likes to dwell in. All right, so I just quickly, before I go, I want to look at the Australia. There's all sorts of problems with Conservative leaders across the world. Boris Johnson, we're awaiting justice. An investigation, and his party will decide whether they will move a no confidence. Just quickly, will a vote of no confidence be moved in Boris Johnson? He's certainly hanging on for dear life. There's a surprise coming up, and we've got the truth. So something emerges from this investigation which heralds an inevitability for Johnson. The Emperor card and the Two of Pentacles, this is kind of the energy sits in, very, very walking that tightrope, and the Sun card, ultimately full illumination. The base of the pack, we've got things in suspension. We have the Moon and the High Priestess. Sometimes I think that the universe is really here in charge of it all. Under investigation. Will the truth come out? I think it's inevitable that it will, and I think it's inevitable in a way that he will face a move within his party to depose him, put someone else in charge. Now, the same could be said of Australian politics. The Conservative Party here can't seem to keep a leader. When the opinion polls close to election dive, they just replace the leader. In fact, that's Scott Morrison replaced former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull just before the election. So I guess will Morrison be able to... It's Scotty from marketing, Scotty from photo ops. Will Scott Morrison be able to hang on in Australia? Will Scott Morrison be able to hang on in Australia? I don't think he will. So the Eight of Pentacles, okay, so work, skill, and the Nine of Cups. There's certainly moves to unseat this person. Scotty from marketing, the Tower card. In the past, we have the Moon. There has been clandestine moves already in the past to replace him. What's crowning the reading is the Ten of Swords, complete and utter downfall. We've got the Queen of Cups, revelation and surprise. Yeah, clarified by what? I think we're going to see a move against Morrison in the coming weeks or months. And in fact, it's already being plotted. Okay, I've always seen, I don't want to read on this again, I've always seen the Conservative Party losing the election. But closer to the date, I'll read on that again. Bye for now, everyone.